Because they'll slide them out. The property across the street was vacant for 15 years. And I was gonna buy it, but then I said, well, this was a street, it's not connected. I only got the original job in Lawrence until like 8,500.
I didn't go sit in them canyons when he bought that.
Sold for 12%. And 4 months later,
He bought that house.
and the house backs up to 65.
We need some highway
They
business.
took all the trees down. Put the backyard, traffic.
Storage.
But you know, people, when you think about it, people coming from the crowded areas, they don't look at this isn't traffic. So to them, this is cars going away. I have a friend that lives in Brooklyn, and Elmo's right behind his house. The train is like 20 feet from the window.
Right there.
He keeps them in the driveway, don't keep them in the yard.
That's like parking RV on my side.
Well, I stayed with him.
Always.
Oh, that's a mess up in there. Well, it's because you got also, it's a week ahead for Christmas. So I drove my friend for 2 weeks ago. I said, man,
Well, I
stop
think
in.
one,
I pulled into the line
one day,
and there's like this giant line of cars.
it
I
becomes.
said, well, in here, I said, go to the Apple store. Okay.
Because this is Stokesdale. It's got water.
Maybe they're running water down there.
Rode a little ways.
Get everybody.
Said it would come in. Got three, got Curtis, you, and Ron.
Well, I think it's gonna get really worse.
Curtis says. And the mayor, we're gonna swear him in today.
Do we have any alternates?
Just Ron and Bruce Angel. Bruce up here since I've been here.
Guess I'm mad at town council. They should not have put Mike on until they put an alternate out. That's the reason why alternates keep coming in here. Anyways. No, okay, good. That's what I was looking for.
It's up there at your seat.
So they're not gonna take the bond, right?
Yeah, so you live on the floor, where?
And then they end up putting it back in that. Oh, yeah, I'm not sure if you're reviewing.
I moved from one end to this end. Yeah, you over there today. Your package should already be there.
I did something really stupid.
Well, if we don't have a quorum, that's a bummer.
I hope Curtis says that.
I'm sorry?
I hope Curtis says that.
Wait a minute, we've got, I think we do have a quorum. There's 3 of us.
Right, but he's not sworn in yet.
Swear them in and
Yeah, so.
creates the quorum.
I got a question for you. Yeah, how many alternates are there?
I think there's only two. It's Ron and Bruce Angel. I've met Bruce Angel.
Right. Yeah, but you can get on the planning board, since I
Mason?
application back in June.
Mason,
But,
do we have to wait until the meeting officially begins to swear in?
I don't know. I don't know how that works here because I know over at Summerfield they didn't. They swore them in before the meeting.
Right, I mean,
So-
it's not part.
So I don't think it. Yeah, I think it can be done that way. So I'd have to ask Robbie, but I think so. Yeah.
Well, you know, can we,
Yeah.
I was surprised they put the mayor back. To me, that brings into,
Robbie,
not my habits, I'm not well liked.
Mason, would you swear him in then? Oh, right there.
Robbie will do it.
Anyway, catch you later.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit, Mark.
Mr. Crawford, will you come over here and get this sworn in? We will probably need you as a quorum.
Need me for a quorum?
Yep. Right now.
Are we that light?
3 minutes.
We are that light, aren't we?
There we are.
Do we have alternates here tonight?
There's one right
Sitting
there.
right here.
So if you could,
I attend more meetings than the rest of the members do.
Help me out. I know it's Southern.
Ron,
Ron,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
so we get them sworn in and we can open the meeting.
okay.
I guess I'm gonna jump in as the vice chairman.
That's your deal, brother. It's your deal.
Yeah, I just checked the email from Curtis. He said he's gonna be here.
Who did?
Curtis Gentry.
Swear him in then.
Robbie's gonna do it.
Robbie's gonna do it.
Gonna
It's
do
a
it.
lousy night. It is one lousy night.
I mean, we'll go to it when we in Stokesdale.
It's your land. It's your land. You want me to tell you no?
No, I agree with you there.
See that man down there? He's a millionaire because he's got so many acres of land.
I ain't no millionaire, I won't be a millionaire when I die. The family might wind up that way, but not me. I get letters and calls every week, they wanna buy that land of mine and see if they buy that. Where my driveway goes, that gives them access to that 40 other 40 acres down there. Until they can get my driveway, they can't, get my property, they can't get to that property.
Darn, I didn't bring my phone. Anybody got a phone?
Phone?
Yeah, I wanna check. 7 o'clock start.
Time is 7 o'clock.
It is 7 o'clock?
We're trying to get Chuck on here.
Who?
Chuck, he's gonna join
It's
via
7 o'clock.
Teams. Huh,
Yeah, you're gonna have to do the oath before you do
Curtis
the
says he's
agenda.
on.
Sorry?
You're gonna have to do the oath before you adopt the agenda.
We need a quorum, and so.
Yeah, we don't have enough people.
So,
I gotta join before
we
we.
gotta join, and then we got a quorum. Robbie,
yes,
start, swear him in, then we can start.
okay, I will. I'm trying to get the attorney on here. I think it'd be best to have him at the meeting before we begin. All right,
I mean, we're already at 7 o'clock.
understood. But I would suggest waiting on the attorney before you begin.
Is attendance normally
They're gonna go.
Is attendance normally a problem?
Not ordinarily.
Because we don't have a quorum.
Somehow we've, must be because it's wet and rainy. Nobody got into an accident.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What we may just do is,
Should we just call him over there?
It's either that
you know
or
what, Chuck, would it be okay if we just called you on the telephone?
not the usual, what's it, the last Thursday of the month?
Yeah, if you click the link, maybe.
Or on the 18th, so.
It's the last Thursday of our normal meeting day.
Well, look at your.
Because of Christmas, we're on the 18th.
Do that one.
I just stopped by the other day, did
shown up either. What
They
is
also
with
said
all
they were gonna be here.
Yeah, he's supposed to be here.
You know, we could hit a quorum and table everything, and they don't show up.
Don't we have to have, we need Avery here for his,
Right. Avery is not here to present the case. We can table it. Once we get a quorum. I hate to do that.
There you go. There it is, right. Yep, you're admitted in.
Okay,
All right, there you go.
very good, thank you.
Yes, all right, I'm gonna hang it down. Okay. All right, got him on there.
All right,
Go ahead and do
let's
your
get
oath.
him, because without him, we don't have a quorum.
That's correct. That's right.
you want a Bible or just,
Oh, it's okay, well, yeah, if you want to, that's
I
right.
don't need it if you don't need it.
Absolutely. Here you go. You'll just, all right. So if you agree with my following questions, just respond with I do. Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution and laws of the United States?
I do.
Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly swear that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof?
I do.
Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly swear that you will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of laws and laws of said state not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you, Michael E. Crawford, solemnly swear that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office as Town Planning Board member for the town of Stokesdale, North Carolina, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well,
And I'll
hello, Avery.
Okay.
We'll get them all signed. Thank you.
There's Avery.
All right, he's
Now we
sworn
got
in.
it.
You got a quorum.
Now that we have a quorum, I'd like to open the planning board meeting of December 18th. So, first item is call to order and pledge of allegiance. If you can stand, please do. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Review and adopt the agenda. Chair will entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we adopt the agenda.
And I'll second it.
All right. Let's show of hands. All those agree? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. All right, we can skip over the next one because we've already got it. Review and adopt the following minutes. The November 20th regular town planning board meeting. Any changes to that?
Not being in attendance, I'm gonna abstain from the vote. An abstention is a yay vote. So I'm not exactly sure where that leaves that. Will that leave that to another meeting?
No, we've got a quorum. We can vote on it.
Well, but an abstention is, you still only got two if you vote for it.
If it's a abstention, isn't that mean that's a vote yes? Is that right if it's not a vote no?
And if an abstention is a yes vote, so
think so.
do we have to put it off or will that fly?
Well,
It would just.
I just wasn't here, so I mean,
it
I'll,
would be all, so if you voted, if you abstain from the vote, then it would be a yes.
okay, fair
So
enough.
that would be three, if
Yeah,
the
three
other
yeses.
two vote.
Okay, I make a motion, we adopt the minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
All right. Unanimous then, a yes vote. Public comment period. Anybody want to speak about this? And if they would, give your name and address, and you're limited to 3 minutes if you would, just to give everybody a chance. We'll also have a public comment period at the end here. Mr. Nadell.
My name is Mark Nadell, 8211 Wendy Gale Drive in Stokesdale. And I want to congratulate Mr. Crawford on his position to the board. I wanted to find out what the situation was as far as alternates to the planning board. I had filed an application with the board, or with the council, or the town actually, back in July, I believe it was, and nothing's happened on it. I believe we have 2 alternates. I think Mr. Ronald's one of them, and there's one other person. And the fact that I guess we're missing 2 people tonight is a little disconcerting that the other alternates are not here. I don't know what their schedules are, but is it the council, is it the planning board that actually appoints the alternates, or is it the town council? And that's my question.
Town council.
Town council does. Okay. Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Bill Greco, P.O. Box 347, Oak Ridge. We have a site plan on the agenda this evening. Just want to let you folks know I'm here, as are the owners, if there are any questions. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out on this wet, rainy night. Anybody else? Let's go on to the next item, which is consideration of the planning board regular meeting schedule. Is that part of this packet,
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right before the first item.
Okay.
As you said earlier, it looks like all the dates are for the last Thursday,
Right,
Each
except
month.
for November and December.
except, yeah, exactly. Do we need to adopt this?
Yes.
I make a motion, we adopt the schedule.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It passes. Public hearing items, rezoning case number 25-10-PLBD-00139. Avery, would you present this to the board?
Absolutely, thank you, sir. So this will be rezoning case number 25-10-PLBD-00139. The subject property for this request is located at 8283 Walter Combs Way, approximately 900 feet southeast of the intersection of US Highway 158 and Walter Combs Way. The subject property is approximately 13.41 acres. The nature of the request is that the applicant is requesting to rezone the subject property from its current zoning of AG agricultural to HB highway business. And I'll now give some descriptions of those 2 districts from the Stokesdale Development Ordinance. The AG district is described in the ordinance as being primarily intended to accommodate uses of an agricultural nature, including farm residences and farm tenant housing. It also accommodates scattered non-farm residences on large tracts of land. It is not intended for major residential subdivisions. The district is established for the following purposes. 1, to preserve and encourage the continued use of land for agricultural, forest, and open space purposes. Number 2, to discourage scattered commercial and industrial land uses. Number 3, to concentrate urban development in and around area growth centers, thereby avoiding premature conversion of farmland to urban uses. And finally, 4, to discourage any use which, because of its character, would create premature or extraordinary public infrastructure and service demands. That's the existing zoning district. The proposed zoning district, HB Highway Business, is described in the ordinance as being primarily intended to accommodate those retail service and distributive uses which are typically located along thoroughfares. The district is established to provide locations for establishments which require high visibility and good road access, or which cater primarily to passing motorists. Development in this district generally have substantial front setbacks. In terms of the overall character of the area, the vicinity, the overall pattern of development is mixed, I would say, consisting mainly of residential and industrial or commercial uses. Moving on, the subject property is about 3.9 miles from the nearest fire station currently. And the road that the property is located on, Walter Combs Way, is classified as a local road. The annual average daily traffic for that road is not provided by the NCDOT. Let's see, there is a mapped stream feature on the far south portion of the site. And in terms of the land use plan, the Stokesdale Future Land Use Plan adopted in 2007 classifies the property as professional/manufacturing and residential. So there's a portion of the property that's considered residential and a portion that falls into the professional or manufacturing category. The professional manufacturing category is described as follows. It's intended to provide an area for the growth of office space and light manufacturing services that's consistent with current uses. The corridor would start at the east end, and it goes on to describe the physical location of the corridor. But it does add at the end, no new industrial areas are proposed due to the number of areas currently zoned, but not developed yet. The residential area, which the other portion of the property is characterized as in the future land use plan, is described as being intended to preserve Stokesdale's rural setting by establishing a uniform residential density. To achieve this, following standards are recommended. Number 1, minimum lot size of 40,000 square feet. Number 2, increase natural buffers along perimeter roads and entrances into major developments, and increase buffers and protection along creeks and waterways. Number 3, plan for interconnected residential development through street and trail links. And number 4, eliminate the use of planned unit development outside the town core. Staff considers the request to rezone the property from AG to HB consistent with the future land use map classification of professional manufacturing, but inconsistent with the classification of residential. So the property is kind of split in its classification, and so you run into a situation where it's consistent with one recommendation, inconsistent with the other. Moving on. In light of all this, staff recommends denial of the request. Denial is reasonable because the intensity and the range of commercial, wholesaling, and other uses permitted in the highway business district would be incongruous with the rural residential development pattern in much of the surrounding area. The HB district would also permit many uses that could detrimentally affect neighboring properties in agricultural or residential zoning districts. Finally, the requested rezoning would be inconsistent with the future land use map classification of residential that, as I said, applies to a large portion of the property. In terms of the future land use map, I don't know how important it is to get into, but your motion to approve your motion to approve, if you choose to approve, would automatically update that future land use classification that's inconsistent. And so you don't need to worry about making a separate motion on that.
And
But
because it's a rezoning, we are only a recommendation to the town council.
But yes, sir, that concludes my presentation. I'm open to any questions if y'all have any.
Board have any questions?
Chairman Louis, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Could you maybe speak closer to the microphone or?
Okay, is that better?
Much better, thank you.
All right. Questions from the board? Avery, I've got a question. Why is the scenic corridor got a jog to it? Let's see.
Reference the map here. I believe
Mr. Chairman, I think
is-
we probably need a public hearing, I think, right? So don't we need to have I guess at some point we should probably have a public hearing to hear from opponents and proponents of the rezoning.
Okay. After our questions from the board, I think.
Okay.
If you would.
To answer your question, I think it's because the scenic corridor follows, well, let me first make sure I understand what you're talking about. So I'm looking at let's see how we can describe this. I'm looking at the
Looks like a zoning map.
On the zoning map, okay. That's because the scenic corridor that is closer to 158, so it is offset from the center line of 158. And so it just tracks with the curves of that road. However that road proceeds, the corridor follows that. The other one is for US 220, so it's following the curve of 220. And so you run into that I guess where those two sort of intersect, it creates that little,
And then down
Corner.
there where it's in the yellow portion, it jogs over to the left or to the west.
that I think is because, if I'm remembering correctly anyway, I think the property to the south of the one we're talking about is not in Stokesdale, or at least the RS 30, the one that's shown as RS 30. And so I think at that point, the scenic corridor for Guilford County is slightly different than the one for Stokesdale. And so you're just seeing it move over a little bit depending on how it's described in the two ordinances.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? All right, I'd like to open it for public comment then. If anybody would like to speak for or against, since we're a small group, please do. We're going to be a little bit informal because we are such a small group. If we had 100 people in here, I'd be much more organized.
Okay, my name is Sigifredo Nino. I'm husband of Luisa Comte, that is owner of the next land, what you are talking about, rezoning. And we want to know how we are living there. These families farmed during a long time. Now we have, beside us is the land that you want to rezoning. We have the land, is a bigger place that is going around all the water comes way down. And we have beside us, beside that land that they are gonna rezone, you have some apartments, some little 4 apartments. I mean, how that thing is gonna affect us, you know, because you have apartments here, we are living here, and what is happening in this little place in the middle of that land? What you can put on that? You can put a gas station, or you can put whatever.
Can I ask you a question? What's the address? There's
8275 Walter Combs Way.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, we want to know exactly what is the proposal, what they are going to put over there, because for us, it's going to be, you know, a big effect. Depends what is happening. You know, you put a gas station, you affect the people in both sides, and the people behind that is the people of another farm. The farm that is a bigger place where they have horses and all that kind of stuff. And we want to know what is going to happen there. That's all that we want to know.
Thank you. Avery, is there a table that shows who owns what?
There, on one of the maps, there is a, let's see, this is gonna be the second map, if you're flipping through, the one that shows all the properties with the letters on them, the blue letters. So at the bottom of that, you can
Okay.
cross-reference.
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm happy to speak a little bit to the gentleman's question now, if you'd like me to.
If you would, please.
Sure. So the request at this time that was submitted by the applicant is for the overall HB Highway Business District. So with certain types of rezoning cases, you can specify in the application what exactly you're intending to do, but the application in front of the board tonight is for a general rezoning application. So anything that's permitted in the Highway Business District would be permitted if it's approved.
And because there's residences surrounding this particular parcel, what setbacks and buffer zones would be applicable to it?
So adjacent to the I think residential or agricultural surrounds this property
Right, it's
on
all
every side. So
agricultural.
from my memory, it would be a 50-foot landscape buffer would be required. The setback would be 40 feet from the road or from the right-of-way, and then just 15 feet on either side. But again, that's if the properties were to be rezoned.
Okay, so if it's rezoned, there would be a 50-foot, when you say setback, but is that including a buffer?
Well, yeah, the 50-foot landscape buffer is what I'm speaking of there.
Okay, so between D and A, there would be a 50-foot buffer on A.
Yes.
And how about between Mill Run and Walter Combs, 8269 Walter Combs Way?
I believe that is the case. I cannot say off the top of my head. I think it's dependent on whether the agricultural property is used for residential purposes. If it's used for actual agriculture, I think the requirement may be a little bit different. But if it's if there's a single-family residence on there.
But we've already been told that there is a single-family residence on
D, yeah.
D, so it's residential. And because C is not part of Stokesdale, how is that affected?
I will defer to Chuck if he has any opinion on that, but I would have to look at the exact wording of the ordinance, exactly how it classifies, if it would allow for consideration of what the zoning is or what the use is outside of the jurisdiction.
Outside of the town
You're
bound.
talking about lot C? Is that what we're asking about?
Yes, lot
The mobile
C.
home park? Yeah, I would have to review the ordinance. My recollection is that there would have to be a buffer, the same buffer as if it were in the district. If C were in the city, in the town rather, you would still have to have the same buffer because it's based on what the other use is. So I think you'd have to have the buffer between A and C, even though C is not in the town.
Okay. And the same thing with, let's see, it'd be I and B, because I believe there's a house on I, and Mill Run, I'm pretty sure is a residence, even though there's not, you don't show it on the map.
Is that correct, Chuck?
Yeah,
the
that's
buffer-
right, yes.
The buffer would also
And
exist there?
those are in the town, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so if those are, yes, you still have to have the buffer between A and B and between A and I. Although if B looks like it might, I'm not sure if B is, I don't see a residence on B. If B is purely agricultural, that may not be the same buffer as you would between, residential uses. I can't tell from this what's on B,
There's some structure.
but it may not be a residence. So
Right, right.
Yeah.
Looks like it, if you look at the satellite map, down the very left-hand corner, there looks like some sort of structures, and
Gotcha.
that would make the whole piece residential.
In front of me, what are y'all looking at, A and B and I?
This is part of the packet that was distributed to the board.
Oh,
So this is just a map
this is
that
the
was.
subject property.
Mhm.
That's commercial, that's commercial. That's agriculture, but it's gonna go commercial, we all know that. What is a part of the ETJ for Stokesdale?
I don't know if Stokesdale does have
Have an
ETJ.
ETJ.
Yeah.
Sorry?
We do not have an ETJ.
I thought that you automatically do.
No.
I thought every municipality had a 1 mile. It's not?
No, our stops at the
Okay.
boundary lines of the incorporated limits.
So what, the buffers that y'all are referring to, is that you're talking about for this property?
Yes, so if it's rezoned, depending on the use and or zoning of the adjacent parcels and the development that's proposed on this, it may or may not be required to install a landscape buffer.
Oh, landscape buffer. And this is a mobile home park right here, C, right? Okay. And the gentleman that spoke, is he on lot, is this him D?
I believe that's what he said.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. but this is all part of Stokesdale.
Yep,
Everything is
those
in
sort
gray.
of shaded, yep.
And this is Highway 220, so this is clearly visible to 220 and 158 and all that. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Sorry.
No, no,
Sorry, John, I'm just trying to get my head around all this.
No problem.
If you got something to add, we sure like to hear it. We want more information than less.
You have a recommendation on this?
Yes, so my recommendation was denial just based on, really just based on the range of permitted uses, and the context of the area, the existing pattern of development.
Do we have any idea what is the proposed use for if we rezone?
No, and even if the applicant or property owner had indicated, it's not binding in any way.
Okay.
It's not binding.
Yes, because this is not conditional use zoning, so the board needs to consider any use within highway business would be allowed. And that appears in the permitted use table under section 4.3 of the ordinance. So there's a list of what's allowed in highway business.
Mm-hmm. Now, the applicant can propose a condition or not.
No, not in this one because it's not a conditional use zoning.
Okay.
It was a straight up rezoning.
All right.
And so there's no way for them to stipulate at this meeting what uses would or would not be on the property.
Okay, understood. Anybody else want to speak on this?
Is this, only in the site plan, is that 4 buildings at the entrance there off of Watercombe Way?
Are you talking
There
about
appear to be 4
There
structures
appears to
there
be 4 structures in there.
in
Yeah.
D?
that are already there.
There's a mobile home, single-wide mobile home, and then there's some barns.
But we've established that D is residential. Somebody's living there. Okay, if you would state your name and address.
Yes, sir. My name is Ken Makovic. I live at 5300 Century Oaks Drive, Greensboro. And I'm just looking at, if I understand it, staff is denying or not going up with the approval of this because why?
Recommending denial for several reasons, but mainly because of the breadth of the uses that would be allowed. So because this is an overall or a conventional rezoning, like Chuck was saying, any use that's permitted in the highway business district would be permitted. So that includes things like auditoriums, stadiums. There are many, many uses that I consider incongruous with the surrounding area.
Okay, so because it appears that, basically this is not a residential piece of property. I mean, based on where it's located in conjunction to the highways, 158 and 220, how wide open it is there, not to mention directly across the street, we have commercial property. Right next door to it, we have commercial property. And it's not farmland. I mean, if you've been out there, you can see the aerial, it's clearly not gonna be, it's not like you're taking away crops. I mean, there's no crops on the property. So to me, it seems like highway business is the best option for the property for development and its future. So your problem is not so much highway business, but it's so ambiguous in its definition and what it classifies. That's where we're concerned. Is that right?
Yeah, so my recommendation is based on the specific request that was made. So a different request or a request that was maybe a conditional rezoning for the highway business district that excluded some of the uses or something, some different configuration, I might have a different
Okay.
opinion, but I have to make a recommendation based on
But
specifically what was.
there's no water or sewer there, correct?
I don't believe so.
No.
I don't think there is.
There's no sewer in Stokesdale.
Yeah, so, an auditorium or a stadium, it's kind of out of the question. I think that's like over the hill,
Sewage systems can be built though. I mean, that's all possible.
Yeah, not to do anything major,
You can have
but.
on-site sewer systems too.
But anyway, so it just appears to me that highway business seems to be a reasonable rezoning request and based on what's around it especially. You already have commercial property out there. So that's my
Do you
feeling
have a
on it.
problem with resubmitting, maybe with a conditional request?
No,
Including-
just time, just, we could resubmit, absolutely.
Excluding
So
some
we
of the
tried to-
things
we
that may
just-
be of concern?
I thought it was advised to us just go for a general highway business because we weren't exactly sure what the use was gonna be at that point. So that's why we're here.
Avery's concern, I think, is valid in that the zoning would allow you to do so many things that I'm sure the neighbors would not appreciate in any way.
We certainly want to be neighborly.
Oh, of
That's for
course,
sure.
of course, yeah. We don't want to disrupt any of it.
No, but I guess, yes, we could, drop back and come up with a conditional use and rezone if that, if we're asked for rezoning on that, if that would help.
Does that make sense?
That
Makes sense to me.
a lot of sense. Avery, if you would
Gosh, I
say
got the
what
hang of this.
kind of objections there are. You've heard some of the
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
the comments around there. I wouldn't want to be next to an auditorium, even though I might be. Hearing what the County
yeah.
Board of Education is going to do. and maybe-
Yeah. No, I understand.
Don't even have to go to the games.
Yeah, sit on my rooftop and watch.
All right, we can do a CU.
So I think as a board, we could table it. Is that right, Mr. Winfield?
Well, if Mr. Makovic is withdrawing his application, then yes, it could be tabled. If he's not withdrawing it, then you would need to, I mean, again, you're just making a recommendation to town council anyway.
Right.
But if Mr. Makovic did not want to have an unfavorable vote on this, he could certainly give notice in this meeting that he's withdrawing the application. I'm trying to remember if he was the only person who applied. Let's say he was on the applications I recall. Let me pull that application up. Let's see. I guess Ms. Gallimore submitted and Mr. Makovic signed the application. So either one of them, I think, could indicate that they're withdrawing the application and then resubmit a conditional use on it if they wanted to.
Which would be a good thing for them because then there was no history of denied zoning.
Yeah, if we make a recommendation to deny it, you still go to the council for their final decision. The council will just simply take our recommendation or not.
Right.
Which may leave you in the same position. I think what we're saying is if we can kind of preempt that so that you don't have to jump through too many hoops to get this done if you want to do it. We're not opposed to you using land for the purpose you want to use it for, as long as it doesn't infringe on our neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
I
So,
would say the downside of that for Mr. Makovic is that I guess there'd be a new filing fee.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I guess there would be a new filing fee, I suppose, if it's different requests, and because I don't know of any authority for.
Can he not just amend the original? Can he not just make an amendment to the original with the same?
No, I'm afraid that's been tried, but it's not something they can do.
There's two different.
But if he withdraws it, there shouldn't be another charge when he comes back, would he?
Well, it's going to be a different request.
It'd be a new request.
Oh, okay.
And his fee is not refundable if he withdraws.
That's correct, because it's already,
The fee's already expended.
the public hearing notice has been prepared and sent out,
I got you.
and then we're meeting here tonight. That's what the fee goes towards.
So I just, again, I don't represent Mr. Makovic, but I'm just pointing that out as a issue. If he does withdraw and then resubmit a different request.
In other words, it'll cost you another $1,300 thereabouts.
How much?
1,300, I believe. The fee is $1,000 plus $25 per acre. I'm guessing. I'm throwing
So
out a number.
basically where it looks like this is headed is We got staff, non-confirming. They're saying, you know, they don't agree with the request as it is, which the planning board, I'm hearing, is saying they'll probably push for denial, which means it still goes to council, which, based on those two, we got 2 strikes against us, and then we go to city council. They could reverse all that, but then again, they may not. Or we can drop back, pull out, refile, new fees, and come back with some sort of conditional use without having a existing history going into city council.
With no guarantee the second one will pass either.
Well, I understand. I get that.
Yeah, we're not giving you a waiver on it.
I understand. I understand.
Just an option if you
So
want to use it.
I think probably the best thing for us is probably to drop back and just pull this one out and regroup with staff. That everything makes everybody
It's
a
your
little more
choice.
comfortable.
That's
And hopefully the
absolutely your
neighbors. Okay? So,
So,
If
We'll
you,
pull
so I
back.
guess if just, so, Mr. McAfee, are you saying that you wish to withdraw your?
We wish to
current
withdraw.
request? Okay, very good, thank you.
thank you.
I think if you talk to the neighbors, that would be a good thing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then. Mr. Winfield, so our action as a board is to table it or just ignore it now?
Well, it's
It's a
been
done
withdrawn,
deal.
and so I would just, at this point, it's moot because he's withdrawn the application.
Okay, so we just skip over it.
Yes, correct. No decision necessary because it's been withdrawn.
Excellent. New business, major site plan case number 23-06-SITE-00044. Avery, will you present this to us, please?
Yes, sir, thank you. So the subject property for this request is located at 7723 and 7725 North Carolina Highway 68, located approximately 1,800 feet north of the intersection of NC Highway 68 and Hall River Road, and comprises about 6 acres. The subject property is Zone CZHB, Conditional Zoning Highway Business, subject to the following conditions. Well, I'm going to save y'all a little bit of time by not reading them all out, but they're in your packets. The use that's being proposed is permitted based on the use conditions. I'll note that. But the request, the site plan is for approval of a warehouse self-storage facility consisting of about 59,000 square feet of storage across 9 buildings. You will see in your packets, probably should have mentioned this earlier, so there was an initial staff report and set of staff comments that were in your packet, and then you will, I think, see an updated version as well. That's because there was a revision to the plan that was submitted and distributed and reviewed in between the time when I sent to Mason the staff report and now.
Excuse me. Hey, you guys, if you want to take your conversation outside, let them speak.
Please.
But that being said, the updated staff report is the one that I'm referencing. So based on the revised site plan, staff does not have any additional comments, any further comments, and staff recommends approval of the site plan as submitted. And that concludes my staff report.
Any questions from the board?
Is there such a thing as a storage building? No, I don't have any.
All right. I remember this coming up to us before, and the issue was outside storage. So we are assuming there's no outside storage anymore?
Yes, sir, that is my understanding. All the references to the outside storage have been removed from the plans. And so that satisfies staff as to that comment.
All right. There looks to be like a bunch of parking spaces there. So if there is off-site storage, what's the enforcement mechanism?
Well,
I said off-site, I meant outside storage.
outside storage. Typically, enforcement well, at least zoning enforcement proceeds from a complaint-based mechanism. So generally, unless there's some kind of outstanding health or safety issue that presents a more immediate problem, typically we proceed based on citizen complaints. So if someone noted, hey, this is not permitted, or this is not something that should be here, they would submit a complaint and we would go from there.
And then what happens with that complaint? Suppose somebody parks their boat or RV there, and then there's a complaint going on. The county enforcement contacts the administration of this, or the management of this facility, tells them, move it, and then what happens?
Well, usually we will visit the site, we'll perform an initial inspection of the site just to see if there's any basis to the complaint. If we note that there is, then we'll reach out with a courtesy notice. So just saying, hey, we think we've identified this violation. Please contact us to work through it, to remedy the situation. If we either do not receive a response, or the applicant is unwilling, or the property owner is unwilling to address the issue, then we'll move on to a notice of violation, which is the official notice. And from that point, that will usually establish a compliance date where, depending on what the violation is, we'll offer them several routes to remedy the situation. So either in this case, remove the vehicles, rezone the property to permit that use, or those are really the two things that I can think of at the moment. And then at that point, people do have a right to appeal the decision if they chose to go down that route. But beyond, like in terms of specific enforcement mechanisms, you're looking at, civil penalties, or that's the most common, or permit denial for future permits, stop work orders, revocation of existing permits. I think that mostly covers it.
Okay. Thank you, Avery. Any other?
And just, I'd like to add that if there is an appeal, that appeal will go to the Board of Adjustment. If someone thought that the enforcement office either misinterpreted the ordinance or they weren't violating the ordinance, that appeal would go to the Board of Adjustment.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
What we're saying is the parking spaces are basically going to be eliminated.
No, they are there.
Okay, now, I consider that outside storage. Are we not talking about eliminating outside storage?
So I don't know if Robbie, do you know if did I send you the updated plans or just the updated staff report? Because I think y'all might have still the old plans in your packet.
There is one plan here. I was looking through the packet.
Is it the one that's marked up with the?
Yeah. So it says outside storage, boat RV is not permitted based on Stokesdale Development Ordinance. So that was, that's the old one still.
We only got a new staff report.
So the applicants can speak to this, but the updated plan that resolved the staff comments, the configuration of the parking spaces is the same, but all the references to it being for outside storage have been removed. Does that make sense?
So he's still got it.
Okay, so, again, to clarify, the space will remain, but they will not be able to use it for outside storage, am I correct?
Bingo, yes.
Okay, so conceivably, they could add another building at some point in that area.
Could be.
That-
You go
that-
through.
Or they could use it for parking or loading or unloading or something, I suppose. That would
I
be
got
another-
you.
Yep.
But we're talking RVs and boats, they're not permitted.
Right.
And you are recommending it be approved?
Yes, sir.
Personally, I'm all about private property. If the owner has the property, if the owner owns the property, I think they ought to be able to use it pretty much however they want to. I'm like probably some of the other members on this board, just a little bit concerned about, we're gonna become the storage capital of the world. That corridor 68 and even 158, I mean, those are our primary routes in and out of our town. It's one of those things I'm not real pleased to go along with, but at the same time, the owner has the right to use the property as they choose. It's my feeling.
And it may be helpful for me just to remind the board that the question before you is, does this plan comply with the ordinance or not?
Okay, gotcha.
So in other words.
Personal opinion out.
So I think the staff is of the opinion that the plan complies with the ordinance. You don't necessarily have to rubber stamp that. If you have a reasonable interpretation of the ordinance that's different from staff's interpretation, then you could rule the staff. But the question is does it comply with the ordinance or any reasonable interpretation of the ordinance?
Gotcha. And it does comply? Robbie Mason, it does comply?
Yeah, according to staff's review of the ordinance, the planning staff that is, it does meet all of the requirements. And I think the comments that were before put on there have been addressed.
Steve, do we need a motion?
Yes. We are approving this because it's site plan.
Okay.
First of all, any other questions about this? Anybody else want to talk about it? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Bill Greco, P.O. Box 347, Oak Ridge. Just to make sure there's no lingering questions, it is a site plan approval. It does meet all the requirements of the ordinance as evidenced by staff and our review and multiple reviews. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to address those.
Any questions about it?
Nope.
Yep.
Thank you, Bill.
And we are approving this?
Yes.
Okay.
Approve or deny it. That's our doohickey here.
That's right. So the final authority of this rests with you all. It's not a recommendation to council.
All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Well, just briefly follow up with what Mr. Wagner said. You are making a final decision, but that under our ordinance, it could be appealed to town council by either Mr. Greco or an interested party could appeal it to town council, but this is a final decision unless there is an appeal.
Correct.
I would recommend the chair make the motion.
Okay. The chair makes a motion that we approve this site plan with the understanding that there is enforcement going back to the county if need be. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, let's vote. Mr. Southern?
Aye.
Mr. Crawford?
Aye.
And I also aye. Is that sufficient, Mr. Winfrey?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and yes, it is.
All right. Public comment period. Again, anybody else want to talk or speak to the board?
Mr. Chairman, if I might, this might just is a little bit out of order, but I'd hope to add to the agenda an item dealing with the town council's recent action regarding the land use plan, and I thought this might be a good time for me to just briefly discuss that with the council, with the board. As Mr. Tu has commented, the land use plan currently in use for Stokesdale was adopted in 2007. Chapter 160D of their general statutes requires the town to regularly maintain that land use plan. It's a little bit overdue for a review. At its last meeting, the Stokesdale Town Council indicated its wish to go ahead and get that ball rolling, and the planning board will be a large part of that effort to review the land use plan. At its December meeting, the town council indicated its wish to have the 5-member committee to review that land use plan. Um, and Mr. Landreth had been appointed by the town, or will be, I guess, appointed by the town in February. Um, the They had asked the planning board to appoint 2 of its members to the board at its January meeting. So I thought it might be a good idea to let the members of the planning board give some thought to um, who would like to serve on that committee. And then the town council will appoint 3 other citizens at large to this committee for a total of 7 members. And so it's not going to be a trivial amount of time. It will take a fair amount of time to review the plan. They can use the current plan as a starting point. I think is the plan, but it's still going to take a fair amount of time to review the land use plan. So I want to just go ahead and bring that up to the board, to your attention, so that if you want to give some thought to who would like to serve on that committee, they could go ahead and y'all could talk among yourselves in the meantime and have somebody in mind for January.
Well, thank you, Mr. Winfrey, except there's only 2 of us that are on the board, actually.
Well, Mr. Gentry's here. He's listening too.
Oh, is he? Okay. Well, Mr. Gentry, that's another thing. We should consider it, and at the next meeting, we'll make them, we'll get somebody in there.
Okay. Okay.
Is the planning board, Chuck, you can answer this, is the planning board restricted in conversations or emails among the different members as the council is? Can 3 of us get together at any one time without calling a public meeting?
No, I'm afraid that you can't get together at a restaurant and the 3 of you meet and decide who's going to be without announcing it. 2 can meet, but 3 cannot. So
Okay, so same rules apply.
right now, if you have, it's a little bit gray area when you talk about emails. And so if you send emails out, the courts say it can't be simultaneous communication, and emails are kind of in a gray area because sometimes you don't see them for a day or 2. So emails are probably okay.
But they are subject to
in-person meeting would
subpoena.
probably not be a good idea.
Yeah, but the emails are still subject to subpoena.
Correct, that's right. There'd be a public record, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other comments from the board? Mr. Winfrey, I have a sort of a personal question, and it might impact this. The Board of Education of Guilford County has purchased 110 acres on 68 for a middle school. Will that middle school site plan come to us?
I think it will, yes. I don't think there'll be a zoning question. I think Robbie and I looked at the ordinance, and it appears that there won't be a need for a rezoning. That's my current opinion. I haven't discussed it with the school board attorney yet, but I don't think there's need for rezoning, but they would have to get site plan approval, yes.
Good. Many of my neighbors have expressed dismay about this school being there, and I've been telling them that as long as the site has enough stacking space for the cars and buses, it shouldn't be an issue
for the public on Highway 68. So what you've
And the
answered-
other issue, again, the issue for review of the site plan is gonna be what we just had was, does it comply with the ordinance or not?
Mhm.
Not would you like to see something different done?
Well,
So the only question for the site plan review is gonna be, does the site plan comply with the ordinance?
well, maybe town council has got to put in an ordinance for public facilities. Where is the pressure point for this idea of having enough stacking space for the school design?
Well, I would say the school board. I mean, there's an elected school board member that represents those folks, and I would say that is where the direction should be, because they're ultimately responsible for the location and construction of the school.
Steve, David Coates is basically our representative on that board. I'll be more than happy to give you his contact information.
Yes, I'd like that.
Yeah.
And I think anybody else in the neighborhood should start calling him.
Well, that's fine. I agree. I've already had I had a call before the changeover in administration, and I explained to the citizen basically the same thing. But what the citizen was asking me is, we are a voice. We don't have any authority, but we're a voice, and if we can express at least their feelings, I think that's probably what we need to be doing. That's, again, to Chuck's point though, this is about the ordinance and not about our opinion.
Excellent, bud. All right, I'm done. Anybody else got a question, comment? We've hit the public comment period. Announcements. Next regular Stokesdale Town Council meeting is scheduled for Thursday, January 8th at 7 p.m. here at the Stokesdale Town Council Chambers. The next regular Stokesdale Town Planning Board is scheduled for Thursday, January 22nd, 2026 at 7 p.m. here again.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Not too bad, an hour.
Curtis, Chuck, thank you both. I'm gonna go ahead and end the team's meeting now.
It's been very cold down here in Miami, by the way. I really got cold last night. It was.
Oh, you stinker.
It was, but it was because the my air conditioning wasn't set right in the room here.
Go ahead,
Where-
rub it in.
Where are you?
Miami Beach.
Sorry, devil.
All right, y'all have a good night.
Thanks.